And we're live. Okay. How you doing, fellas? Thanks for joining. We're going to talk about. I have Matt's here from Merchant Man, and I have Haynes from Outer Banks. Grim's going to be joining us shortly, and we're going to talk about teams that we never had a chance to talk about and see how they improve their team. Haynes, you want to go first about what you want to talk about on your team between your rookie, your trades, free agency, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'll first say it's good to be on. I'll be glad to talk about my team. I guess to summarize, we are 3 years removed from a bowl appearance. And we've slid since then. I think that was an 11-5 season. Went to 8-8, and then we've had a couple of losing seasons. But looking back, it kind of makes sense. When we went to the bowl, my roster, all my best players were in their prime in terms of ratings and age. And at this point, they've all aged out. Some have retired. Some have, been bad enough to where I just needed to cut them. So I am essentially in rebuild mode. I did pick up Quinn Nichols.
What
He's in his
position?
7th year. He was a 3rd-round pickup. I previously had Matt Dillon. You guys probably remember that name.
Yeah.
And I picked up Quinn Nichols as a replacement. He sat on the bench behind Dillon for a couple years. And then when I first started him, he was really promising. He had a really good couple of years as a starter. So I thought I'd found my quarterback of the future. But the last 2 years, he just shit the bed, So
Yes, he did.
So that's why I decided, I need to go quarterback and have somebody that was decent to build around. So when this draft came up, there was a couple of guys at the top. Wilson and who's the quarterback that snapped Frankie Leach. And my
Did you
players
flip a
at
coin
8
between
now.
Did you flip a coin between those two quarterbacks or?
Yep.
Yeah, good question on that. Did you?
Yep. And my skill players that aged out, I had some chemistry going. They were all yellow. And I thought, okay, given the fact that they've all aged out, Quinn Nichols is a different affinity color. I'm going to go ahead and switch up colors and bring some smarter guys in. So I'm in the middle of, part of this rebuild is an affinity switch. Both Ronaldo Wilson and Frankie Leach were my affinity, in my affinity group. So then it becomes a question of, if I compare those two guys, what I didn't like about Frankie Leach was the zero timing.
Oh yeah.
And then what I didn't like about Ronaldo was, he's a red flag player. So that was my decision. Do I want to take a risk on a red flag player? Do I want to take a risk on a quarterback with no timing? And I'd had a quarterback with no timing in the league before.
Who did Frankie Leach go to? What team?
Snap finger.
Let's get him on the board at the same time. Okay, let me move him over, and then you can continue.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, we got those guys side by side there. So, they're pretty similar. in the bars, other than that timing bar. And Frankie Leach is he's got the high bar in deep pass and the high bar in third down. And Ronaldo doesn't. But I run a short pass offense. So I thought, the guy with the timing and the guy with the short pass bars in screen pass bar is going to be best for me. So that's the route I took. Although I'm gambling on that red flag. So part of the equation in the draft was I'm sitting at 3. Paris is sitting at 1. Snapfinger is sitting at 2. And I'm looking at Snapfinger's roster and thinking, well, he's got Stan Schultz. He's a 14-year guy, so he's probably going to get a quarterback. So if I want to get the guy I want, I've got to go to number 1. So that was my thought process. And I just kind of leaned on the NFL draft value chart to figure out, okay, how much do I want to give up to move up 2 places? Based on the draft value chart, I can't remember what the point number is, but it essentially, tells you need 2 first-round picks to move up from 3 to 1, for 2 second-round picks to move up from 3 to 1. And I decided I'm going to throw in an extra second-round pick just to, sweeten the deal and not have to go, back and forth on negotiating. So that's what I offered Paris, and he was happy with it. So it sounds like he was in conversations with you about his existing quarterback, Clay.
Well, when I saw that he was going to take your quarterback, if he couldn't trade his 1-1, I assumed that he wasn't happy with Ike. And so that's why I made the move to him and said, hey, I'll take your quarterback if you don't want him. And I think at first he thought that I wanted to trade up to 1-1, and he already told me he already made a deal with you. And I told him, no, I want Ike. So here's 2 first rounds, and let me have him. But it wasn't enough.
Yep. And that looks like Ike has worked out pretty well for you so far.
We'll get to him soon. I want to stay on your team.
Okay. So that was my thought process in the draft. I did not want to give up any first round picks other than the current year. So I felt like that was a good place to be. I've got a quality quarterback that I can build around, hopefully, and I've got all my first round picks for the next few years. In the draft, the rest of the draft, I didn't have a second round because I traded it off. And I just picked up affinity players and some guys for depth. So nothing really notable in those later rounds. Again, some depth for the team. I did pick up an undrafted free agent rookie that I think is going to be really promising. The linebacker.
Fleming, I guess.
Alec Fleming.
Alec Fleming. Okay.
Yeah, he'll end up with, looks like he's projected future 52. Actually, my scout has him at 55.
You probably have a better scout than I do. My scout, I picked up a new one, so it's pretty decent, but it's not as good as the rest of the leagues.
Oh, it's close.
No real action in free agency. I thought,
Nothing on your weak points you didn't go after to help boost your team? Or did you just say to yourself, I'm not going to get enough players, I have to start from scratch, and let me just start with quarterback and work my way up?
Exactly. My objective is, this year, and in the draft was to get a quarterback and to start to build the new affinity groups. So that's been my focus. I don't think I'm going to be competitive in terms of the playoff race for another couple of years. Typically it's been Howie and I neck and neck. I don't think I'm going to compete for the division for. It'll probably take me another couple of years to rebuild.
I'm kind of shocked that you're 0-6 this season.
Yeah. I'm trying not to think too much into that. It's tough to lose, but at the same time, I just, my number one objective is to develop the quarterback. So I started him week 2, and I'm just going to keep playing him. He's been terrible so far.
He's 56% developed, so give him till next season.
Yep. And I've not been able to get, part of the problem is I've not been able to get the running game going. My offense is pretty balanced. We like to run, but to this point, we're playing from behind in a lot of games. So I find myself passing more than I want to because we're playing from behind.
I see your tight ends are neck and neck with 270 each.
Those are my best players on the receiving core. So my offense is designed around those two guys for the most part. Harvey Vance has been a stud the last 5 years or so. 7 Pro Bowls. He was a leading receiver in the league for, I think, 3 of the last 7 years.
Yeah, 1,246 yards last season and 1,295 yards the season before.
Yeah, so he's done really well. But, he's suffering due to, current quarterback play. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to change for a while. So I'm just trying to be patient with my team, not get too frustrated. I think, like I said, give it another year, give it another 2 years. I think I'll be competitive for the division race again.
But that's the fun part, is when you have a good team and then it falls off and you have to build it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so I'm that's where I'm at in the cycle, So I just got to build it back up.
Nice. Oh, I have your team summary up. Hold on, fellas. My workers are here, and so I have contractors in my house doing some work. At the same time, I'm doing this video. Yeah, so I'm looking at Wilson, his quarterback, and your running backs.
Can you bring up Harvey Vance for another? I've got a question for Haynes.
Who?
The tight end we looked at.
There you go.
Has his route running always been like 42, or did it used to be much higher?
Let's look.
Which bar?
The route running.
Oh yeah, it used to be higher.
Okay.
Yeah, that's come down some. It was never really too high. I think the highest it's been was in the 60. Yeah, 60, mid 60s.
Yeah.
No, 66 was the highest.
Yeah, but it was 40 last season, and he put up 1,240 something yards. It was 47 the year before, and he put up 1,295.
But that's the thing I was wondering about. I'm starting to think that for tight ends, the route running doesn't have to be as high or large as for the wide receivers.
For wide receivers.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Harvey is a good example of that.
Yeah.
And I have to agree as well.
Yep. I mostly historically have just thrown over the middle to him, and on most of my plays, he is. Anytime I throw to anyone else, he's the secondary receiver. That strategy has worked out really well, or we're getting production out of him.
Oh yeah, this looks like a great guy to have as your secondary receiver.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me put this out here. And we can see the stats and the records. And there you are.
0-6. I don't think I've ever been 0-6.
88 points you've done, and you've given up 164. So I think you're the worst in. No, there's another team worse. Bordeaux and Snap Fingers.
Oh yeah, but
And
I played
Atlanta.
5 games.
Oh,
They played
actually,
a game
no.
less, yeah.
Atlanta only played 1 game less, so you can't go by them. Snapfinger the same, and Bordeaux. So right now, you have 6 games, and so your offense is really abysmal.
Yeah, it is. But I promised myself I'm not going to pull my hair out.
Nope.
I just,
Chug along, right?
I'll just keep chugging along because, I think I'd be in a situation where continuing to try to tweak it would just lead to more frustration.
What do you think? Well, I don't want to give away your secrets, but if you want to say it on here, what is your main goal that you're looking to improve? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
You mean from a roster perspective?
As a roster perspective, like for me, I'll say I want to get a nice solid safety, and I think I can really solidify my team. And I'm just making an example. What would it be for you?
Yeah, for me, moving forward, I'm going to have to get some receivers to give Ronaldo somebody to throw to. I've got Better, who's got a great route running bar. But the other 2 guys, Hutton has a good route running bar. And he's got great courage, but he's not a stud. My challenge with my wide receivers right now is none of them have 3rd round catching. While both my tight ends have good 3rd down catching. So my offense is designed to throw to my tight ends on 3rd down. Because I can't throw.
The thing about it, if you have somewhat decent wide receivers and you have a young quarterback, by the time your quarterback gets developed, your receivers get too old.
Yeah. So I think, moving forward, I'm going to be trying to find some receivers in the draft. I think that's the biggest weakness now on my team. So that's step 2 or step 3 in the rebuild.
All right.
Number 1 is quarterback. Number 2 is affinity switch, and number 3 is receiving core.
All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Let's look at Matt's, your team, Merchant Man.
Yeah.
Let me get to your roster.
Oh, can you sort by on team on this screen?
What do you want to sort by?
On team, the last column.
Oh, punting?
No. On this screen, you can sort by on team. On the right.
On the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one?
Below that? No, below.
Below.
Go back.
Oh,
Go back
okay.
to yeah.
Let me go back
We'll get
to
it there.
Scout.
Back to Scout Overview and then on team. The final column of the at the top.
I'm
Right
not.
below, right below attitude advisory.
Oh,
Right?
there,
That
here.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the main thing to see here is that I don't have a lot of players that joined this season, but my team is basically, yeah, guys that I picked up in the last couple of seasons. So 21-8, 21-7, and a lot of guys before, but those are more kind of role players. So when you sent me the question from how did you build your team, my answer would basically be I built my team like 2 drafts ago. The 21-8 draft was very, very important for this team. I had like 5 late first and early second round picks, and all of them, well, are core players to the team now. So, and it fully developed aside from the quarterback. So that's yeah, I think that's how this team came together for now.
Now, I'm looking at your roster, and I think we talked about your team last chat, or 2 chats before, and we all
Probably.
thought you had a good roster. You know, some spots here and there, but most of your roster is like pretty solid outside of your quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm really not I'm quite happy with my quarterback. Because well, we've all seen he's been doing well last season. I'm still not sure why, but
25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
yeah,
That's very good.
Just very good. That's
Yeah.
impressive. And what's he's like a mid-30s rated quarterback.
I think he's going to get close to 45 according to my scout. But can you put him side by side with Billy Russell? He's my backup quarterback.
Sure. There you go.
I think it's going to be quite obvious what happened there when I saw Billy Russell and what worked for T-Zach and his team. When I saw Singleton in the draft, I was like, wow, this guy is like a young version of Billy Russell. And when I looked at my spreadsheets, Singleton was the highest rated quarterback in my eyes for that draft class. And it's basically mostly based on the timing and the sense rush. But yeah, I was like, okay, I've got the spare second round pick, so why not grab this guy before somebody else does? And I still had Evan Drake playing okay, so Singleton was on the bench for his rookie season for the first half, but then when we fell apart as a team, I think we started like 1-8 or something. I felt like, well, Drake is done. Let's go with Singleton and see where we get. And in the end, we missed the playoffs by a game or so. And last season, yeah, he played like this. So I've got to be happy with this kind of quarterback.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah, I agree.
And because your wide receiver, you got this guy last season.
Yeah.
Nice pick, by the way.
Well, the story here is quite similar to Haynes' story about his quarterback. I traded up from the 6th spot to the number 2 pick to get this guy, and I think I offered even more than Haynes did. So I was checking back on it, but I think I offered, what was it? Oh, I don't have the screen open anymore, but it was a truckload of first and second round picks, and I just felt like, well, my team is pretty much ready to start winning it again and grab this best receiver we can get our hands on. And wow, he's looking, yeah, about
Yeah,
where I hoped he would be. Let's
he's
say.
looking very good. But
Yeah,
what did you pick up in this draft?
I went with the tight end, Ted Gordon, and
Yeah, he looks
he's
pretty good. I mean,
and
he won't do much in the running game, but man, he looks pretty good for the passing game.
yeah, and I was actually I hoped it would end up a little bit higher than this. He went down a little bit in preseason, but I think it's still okay.
Now, I had a cornerback. He dropped 12 points, and he's playing one of his best seasons right now. So
A veteran guy or a young guy?
he's an older guy, a vet.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that sometimes maybe they still play higher than what their ratings are.
Well, yeah, I think I've got like two or three things you can consider here. Well, if he's an older guy, he's been long on your team, so in cohesion he's still very high. So I think that will compensate a little bit for the loss of ratings. And sometimes the ratings loss is like in only one or two bars that went down really hard. And if the bar isn't very important to your game plan, it doesn't really hurt your team. So if it goes down 12 points, but a lot of that is, yeah, I don't know, like it's man-to-man defense, but you only play him in zone defense, then it doesn't really matter much.
So are you worried about him?
No, not right now. Usually with young guys, I feel like I have to keep them on the team like 3 seasons, at least 3 pre-seasons to get a good look at what they are going to be like.
Gotcha. Oh, just wanted to see if you were liking him or not.
Well, I still have another tight end that's doing well, so it, it's basically this guy is going to play a lot, but he's also waiting in the wings to get the real production.
Gotcha.
The veteran tight end I've got that was like second team last season, so actually don't know where they sit right now on which guys are doing the best on my team receiving.
So you made no trades, any free agency pickups that can also help benefit your team?
Let's go back to the screen we had just with when you sort by on team, you can see who the guys are that are new on my team. I actually cut a lot of my draft picks. I picked a punter in the 3rd round, and he fell apart. He dropped quite hard, so I didn't keep him. Yeah, there really isn't much that I added to my team. Maybe Will Warwick, that's my new punt returner, and Dan Peterson, he's my new safety.
Are you happy with your team right now, or do you?
Yeah, almost. I felt like I was a little bit too trigger fingery or whatever to release a couple of veteran cornerbacks, but so I released one too many of them, but at the same time they had to go at some point, and I needed to get the cap room available to lock up Singleton for 5 seasons. So
It's interesting how your quarterback's throwing more picks this season. Well, he's up
it's
there.
still early, so And last season might be a very lucky season, like 6 interceptions in 60 games. That's well, not. It's probably the low end of where you would expect a decent quarterback to be at.
And like when I asked,
You said interceptions on the secondary.
no, the interceptions with
Okay.
Singleton.
Singleton.
He's 4-4.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
He's on the verge of maybe throwing 12.
maybe we have a tough schedule ahead, but everybody does. So, yeah, parity is a big thing in the league. So,
Yes, it is.
Yep.
You're in a
We're-
tough.
it's quite simple. I'm not going to switch quarterbacks at some point. It's just not going to happen this season. Yeah,
I wouldn't either if I was you. I would just stay riding him and
he's
play him
still the
out.
old end. So,
If you believe in that quarterback, play him.
um, well, I did believe in Evan Drake as the previous quarterback, and he finally got our team back to the playoffs. So that was good. And before that, I had like 10 seasons with a quarterback that just never was going to work out. And he's been talked about in this on your show before, but yeah. I believe more in Singleton, even though his overall rating is lower, but apparently he's got the right bars to do well.
Well, at least your rookie tight end is producing for you.
Yeah, he's taking all the targets from Alcala, the
Yes.
second tight end.
Yes, he is.
And the other guys are, well, they're a little bit struggling, but it's 5 games. They might still break out with a couple of 100-yard games, so it's
And-
too early to get worried about it.
Well, you put up 136 points, and your defense is giving up 141. I'm sure you want to fix that.
The
the
defense
defense.
is quite disappointing at the moment. I just didn't expect them to give up more than 20 points every game. The secondary may not look very impressive, but
You have the bars in the right place.
I think I do. Yeah, we've been one of the best teams in generating interceptions for the last 2 seasons. Well, not even by a small, but by a large margin. So these guys know what they need to do. They do what they need to do. So
Nice.
I like those kind of cornerbacks, those with a 40 overall rating, but they've got 1 or 2 good coverage bars and interception bars.
It's similar to what Howie does, because Howie has backs like that as well. And I remember when we first did a chat way back, Howie brought up why he gets his players and on the bars, and it reminds me of his picks, your cornerbacks.
Yeah, the
Yep.
last time I was on, we also looked at my secondary because it was quite similar as it is now. Even most of the guys are still on the team. One flaw in my team right now is I don't have run defense on the secondary. So
Yeah, you're sitting at 31 and run yards per carry.
and
Yeah.
I have to say I didn't expect that with what we have on the front 7. I actually did. I did add a safety with run defense to hopefully try to solve it.
You were running a 4-3.
Yeah,
Because of you're 26 on allowing rushing yards. You're 31 yards per attempt. Passing yards, you're 26. Yards per attempt on passing is 30th. So your defense has really been giving you problems. That's hurting you. You've given up, like you said, that you can't stand 28 points per game. You're averaging, but you're putting up 27 points a game. So, which is very good. If your defense was playing lights out, you'll probably be undefeated or 5-1 right now.
Yep.
I think we've got the guys to do it. So, yeah.
It's pulling your hair out, right? You're trying to figure out what's going on.
When you look at what my defense did to the Tucker Tigers, it was like, wow, they had just, it was insane.
There it is.
It looks like it's all offense, and the offense played extremely well, but the defense was also there. So
yeah, and Ben doesn't run very much, so that probably helped you.
I probably did, yeah.
Yep.
Guys, give me a minute for a minute.
Sure.
The contractor's calling me. I'll be right back.
All right. So Matt, what kind of offense do you run?
We're still running a Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I recently switched to Smash Mouth.
It didn't work for quite some time for my team, but after I got rid of the running back with a lot of bars that didn't produce, now the guys that are on my team, well, we can see it on the screen. I've got an old running back who's running 5.8 yards per carry. That's just insane.
Which guy is that?
Holmes. We can wait for Clay to pull him up on the screen, but
I'll pull him up on myself here.
Hello. Okay, I'm back.
welcome back.
No, my pedestal sinks. They were busted when they were delivered, so they let me know.
Heinz asked me a question about the running game, I think.
Yeah, offensive style and what type of offense he's running.
And I said we're running a smash mouth, and then I mentioned my running back, Holmes, who's getting 5.8 yards per carry.
Which he's doing well, yeah.
And well, he's basically what we talked about your cornerback. He went down like 12 overall rating points, and when I saw that, I was like, what am I gonna do? Either I'm going to cut him, or I'm going to keep running with this guy because he did so well last season. We've got the offensive line, we've got the cohesion. He's still got the whole recognition and the breakaway speed. He's going to be fine. He's not going to get 20 carries per game, but he never did. So we basically got a 3 or 4 guy backfield.
This guy that we're looking at has gotten you 5.8 per carry.
Yeah.
Basically, most people wouldn't even touch this guy if they saw him in free agency.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think this guy won't do extremely well for other teams. But he's on my team for, 8 seasons. So I think I kept this guy on the bench without a carry for like 2 seasons, where very few carries. And then I put him in the rotation and guys will start gaining yards.
No, but I find it amazing how you can make this player produce. Look at his year in 2108. He had 891 yards, 4.84 per carry.
Yeah.
2109, 924, 5.508 per carry. That's great.
What might help here is I've got three running backs, and back then I used two different running backs, and I think I was using Holmes in the right formations to give him a chance to make big runs. So
I'm
I
impressed.
think the more I play this game, the more I feel like um, really in many instances, all you need is hole recognition.
well, I,
If you let me show you something, Clay. Can you pull up that running back again on Matt's team, and then compare him to um, my running back, Enrique Fisk. And let's look at these guys side by side.
Okay, here we go.
So Fisk was just a guy I picked up in the third round. I didn't expect much out of. But I wasn't getting production. And I've got three running backs. I wasn't getting production out of one of them, so I put Fisk in there. His numbers aren't great this year because we're playing from behind and we can't get going. But last year as a rookie, he averaged 5.58 yards a carry.
that's impressive.
This guy.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
1,500 yards. 1,500 yards.
Yeah, your guy also has the elusiveness. Well, everybody says it's like it can go either way, and sometimes it feels like elusiveness is a bad thing. But on this guy, it might even
I
be a
think
good
some
thing.
is good. I think, I mean, if the elusiveness is higher than the hole recognition, I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
But if you have high hole recognition and some amount of elusiveness, I think that combination works pretty well.
And this guy has the breakaway speed. Your guy also has the endurance to
Yeah.
actually carry the ball, maybe close to 20 times a game.
Yeah. Let's compare quarterbacks. So let's compare your Matt's. Was it Singleton?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's compare him to my quarterback, Quinn Nichols.
Oh, Nichols? Okay.
Yeah. So Nichols, I benched him. But if you look at his bars, you would think he'd be pretty good. And he was for a couple of years. And the more I look at that, the more I think, having some ability to scramble makes a big difference.
Well, I can pull up my old quarterback, Starks, and we can see. Starks has no scramble ability. Starks has no scramble ability.
Was he any good?
He did well for me, but I moved on from him. All right, so where's your quarterback? Let me get him up so we get them all together.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, so I have no scramble. You have no scramble, Haynes, with your quarterback. And Singleton has scramble. Singleton last season threw for passing rate of 89, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But he didn't throw as much. He didn't throw as much as we did, so you can't go by that. My quarterback had an awful season last season. The other seasons he was much better. Starks.
So he fell off too.
He fell off because of, I think, I'm not sure why actually. So yes, he fell off. We'll just say that.
Same with Nichols. So if you double click on his player stats and look more at his history.
The rating history, you mean?
This history, correct?
Yeah, this history. 2107, 2106, and 2107. like I said, I thought I had my quarterback of the future. Those 2 years were his first 2 years as a starter, all 16 games. And we're pretty balanced. We don't rely on the quarterback or ask too much of him, but he performed well. So I don't know what happened to make him drop off like that.
Let's see here. So this is Singleton. Well, he only played a full year. He only played a full year in 2109, so you really can't. We can watch him, Haynes, how he plays, because I'm sure Matt's going to keep playing him. And then my guy, here's his years. So 27, 22, 28 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, 26, 18, 31, 15. That was his best season, which was 2108. But again, you can't go by the yardage. I usually look at average per attempt and touchdowns to interception ratio, because I'm throwing 700 times. So obviously I should have a high passing yards. But it's my average per attempt and my touchdown to interception ratio. Those are big for me. Last season, there were 2 games, I think 3, that I was winning, and I was in my opponent's red zone, and it was like 2 minutes or a minute left to the game or something like that, close to the end, and he threw a pick 6, and I lost the game.
Well, what I'm wondering about, I'm thinking that my Singleton guy, at that point in the game, he won't throw an interception, but he's going to go for a scramble and just hope for the best.
Yes, that you
And
know what?
that's-
You are right
I guess
about
that's
that.
why his interceptions are so low. It's not because he's avoiding interceptions; he's avoiding throwing the ball.
You are right about that, by the way.
That's a good point, Matt.
That's a very good point.
He's not going to run when he's. Yeah, that's just my theory about this guy.
And maybe that's why having some ability to scramble is so important.
That's a very good point that you just made, Matt, on your thing. Did your quarterback, Haynes, the new one, he has scramble ability?
Oh yeah,
Wilson?
maybe too much.
But that's the other thing. He might go on the scramble when he's in position to throw touchdown. But
I am going to watch for that. That's a good point. I'm going to read my logs and stuff like that. But going back to you, Matt.
Michael Vick.
well, kind of,
What-
yeah.
What thing would you like to add to really solidify your team?
Well, basically, I think my team is ready to make a run, but I'm just not as good as a lot of guys in the league in game planning and putting the right guys in the right formation at the right time of the when you need the guy to make a play. So that's always go. I'm just not good at it. So it's not like I'm not trying, but it's just not clicking for me yet. So in general, I think my team is good enough to make a run. I really don't think there's. I mentioned it before. I think my secondary is too low in run defense. That's the flaw on the team right now.
So do you?
I consider to grab a free agent or two with cornerbacks or safeties with run defense, but I ran out of cap room to make such kind of move. So
So do you see your team this season as a playoff team?
Oh yeah, but we were close last season. We were close the season before. Uh, the guys that were rookies 2 seasons ago, they're now 77 or 75 rated guys. So in on paper, this team should be good, but
Yeah, you've assembled some talent. There's some talent on your roster.
yeah,
Okay. Well, some guys wrote me, and I can start with XCOM. He was talking about his team, which is Harlem, and he took a step back. His team, he doesn't see them being that good this season, and he lost his whole line, his O line.
yeah.
So he's not. He doesn't think he's going to compete like he did last season, which he was 13-3. So he doesn't see himself there. Let's look at his team, Harlem.
I think he still has a decent line. He has a lot of rookies on.
Yeah, even without looking at whether they are run blockers or pass blockers, it already looks well okay.
Yeah, let me move this over to here. Let's look at his offensive line. I guess he's waiting for them to develop.
He might be surprised by the end of the season. I mean, I can see that line getting better.
Yeah, he's 5-1. I guess he's being humble
Yeah.
because he's 5-1. He's put up 148 points, and he's put up 118 allowed.
I think XCOM is bluffing.
I guess a lot of people want to have that bad team that he has. But yes, so that was his take on his team.
Oh, he beat Gothenburg.
He's got this wide receiver. This is the guy he converted, I believe, from a running back.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
And he just puts up numbers. Look at his numbers.
Yeah. That guy's amazing.
He had 20 touchdowns in 2109. 20.
So does anyone know, like, when he converted this guy, did he lose some of his rating?
That's a good question. We would need.
I don't think so.
Because every time I try to do that or think about doing that, and I start to see the numbers, I never pull the trigger because the rating loss is too great to switch positions from running back to.
Well, I have his thing up, so we can look at it right now. So route running was 72-88, and I don't know when he changed, but it went from 88 to 89.
Yeah,
and
in
it
between
hovered
there.
and it stayed in the 80s.
You can see that he changed him either somewhere between training camp and the early preseason games. The breakaway, what is it? No, the big play bar. It went from 0 to 56. It wasn't 0, but it was a running back before. So
Yeah, right.
And so it's staying in the 56 for me to 58 range.
he may have been underrated before the change and overrated after the change, and I mean by like 10 points or something. And what we see now is what he really is like. It may have been very light for a running back, making it even more likely that he wouldn't drop a lot.
And he's making his quarterback play well. I know he got this guy off of North Plainfield. He had a passing rating last season of 89. He had 33 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and average per attempt 7 yards.
Wow, that's quite the turnaround for a guy.
Mm-hmm. The big turn.
Yeah, I think moving forward, XCOM is always going to be in the mix. I mean, he's very good at drafting and assembling talent. Um,
Yep, he's good.
he's good.
So that was his take on his team. Then T-Zac wrote me. And T-Zac gave me a couple of good things. He said he got better on his coaches. So let's go to his team, T-Zac's team. So it was Toronto. And Toronto. So this is his take. Got better on coaches. He switched his defense from a 3-4 to a 4-3. He drafted 19 players. Wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. He picked up a nice stud center. I guess
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, two guys even.
I'm going to get the other guy up. Here you go. In free agency, he picked up a nice left tackle, Boner, Farley, a defensive end, Marsh, Gallo, quarterback Taylor, and let's get him on the board. So this is his centers that he talked about. He picked up 3rd round pick, Graf, nice pickup. I'm surprised he fell that far to the 3rd round.
Maybe it was
I think,
underrated.
yeah.
So this is
I think of all the linemen, I think centers probably get overlooked the most in the draft.
so this is a guy he picked up. Hold on, guys.
The same faucet you say, right?
The one in the box, the brand new one.
Yeah, the same faucet
Yes,
for the old one. So I can just change the pedestal and the same faucet.
yes. But I have
Upstairs is different faucet.
I have a new one in the box right there.
Upstairs.
Nope, that's for here.
You too?
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the mic on still, so.
Yeah, switching from so you were saying about the defense?
This is the upstairs?
No, for the
How about the upstairs? New?
you just use the same one.
Oh, the same with upstairs?
Okay, guys. It's hard to do one of these when I have contractors in my home. Didn't know they were going to be here.
No worries.
You're
So-
managing
so-
fine.
So what were you guys saying before?
We were talking about the offensive line, I think.
Okay, so yeah, he switched from a 3-4 to 4-3. I know I was speaking about that, and then I was bringing up his offensive lineman. So it's not Boner; it's actually Booker.
Booker.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is Booker, and then you got another left tackle, Farley. He picked up. He said.
Yeah, the typical guy for an all-pass playbook,
Yeah.
a game plan. I mean,
And then he went into his defensive end, Marsh. Let's take a look at him. Here we go, Emmett Marsh. He picked him up. And then he picked up a wide receiver, Galloway. Let's take a look at Galloway.
I think he meant the. Oh, he's got two marshes.
Oh, he does?
Oh yeah, that's what he talked about. It's confusing to have two guys of the same position with the
Here we
same
go.
name.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the guy he was talking about.
He's not brand new, but
Oh, he's got 6 sacks already.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got the good pass rush technique.
10 hurries, 9 quarterback knockdowns. So he got this
And
guy.
the play diagnosis, so I like it too.
And then he got Galloway, his wide receiver. These are the people who are helping his team. And then, of course, the famous Taylor that was on his team, of his old team, and then went to Chicago, and then went to, I think, Tucker had him? and is now back with I forgot to ask. I forgot to ask Tizak what he paid for him because Tizak had him. Let's see. Let's look at his history. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he had him in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, yeah.
and this is where he did well. And then I guess what's his name traded for him? Red Zone. Red Zone said he
Yeah.
needed a quarterback. He needed him, but it didn't work out for Red Zone. Red Zone benched him. Then I wanted to trade for him, but I did not. And then he hit the free agency, and then Ben spent a lot of money to grab him. And as you can see, what he did for Ben. And then I wonder what he traded Ben for to get him.
So take a look at Daryl Taylor's bars.
Mhm.
Accuracy, timing, sense rush, scramble. I mean, he looks. If you look at his passing bars, screen, short, medium, long, I mean, they're not good. So the other ones are the ones that matter, right?
And then it's the bar that we're not seeing. Avoid interception,
Avoid interceptions. Yeah.
which presumably is very high, but
And he said Taylor fits his system. That's why he went to get him to help his
Yeah.
team. And so he got in his drafting in his free agency. He got a lot of starters to help his team. And his
and
team.
he still got Witten on his team too at quarterback. So
I wonder if he's going to trade with.
Yeah, I was gonna say Witten's probably some
Well,
trade bait. Give him some draft capital.
the problem is he's 35, so I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah, 13 seasons. Yeah.
I might still play for 5 seasons if he's not getting benched.
But this is where, Tizak is. He, with his offense putting up 193 points per game. And his defense is only getting up 138. So, if we look at him here,
How's
he's
his
putting up
pass
he's
defense?
putting up 32 points on average per game, but he's giving up 23. So,
But his pass defense is doing well. It's like completion percentage 50%,
mhm.
first in the league. Yards per attempt 5.39, second in the league. And I bet he's playing like 4 rookies on the secondary.
Let's look.
Yeah, he grabbed a lot of rookie cornerbacks and safeties, and they all look great. Zone defender, yeah.
There you go. He is second in pass defense, and here's his guys.
He's working his magic.
Yes, he is. That was him on his thing, and so he's going to be a playoff team. Definitely.
Yeah, he's
I really like this screen too, because on the left, when you look at the receiving, you see all those guys with 10 or more targets. It's just typical for Tizak. He's getting a lot of guys
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to game plan against.
And then Sweendog, Atlanta, he wrote in saying his team did not approve. He's not happy the way that it's going. I think, what's his record right now?
0-5, I think.
He is, 0-5. He probably doesn't know what's going on. What was he last season? Do you know? Let's see.
9-7.
Wow. Yeah. I'll be pulling my hair out too.
Wow, yeah. It's just that's part of the parity stuff again. When there's a lot of teams that are in the 10-6, 9-7, 8-8 uh, kind of teams, then some of them will start the next season like 0-3, 0-4. It's just some of them will be, and I guess Atlanta is the team that's getting unlucky.
Well, here's Wilkinson, his quarterback. Last season, he was decent. He was
Oh, wow.
2-to-1 ratio on touchdowns to interceptions, and he threw 6.94 average per attempt, which is not bad. Passing rating of 87. This season, he's thrown five touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And he's probably like, what's going on here? And so he pulled him for his other guy. What's his name? Gown. And it's just the wheels came off.
Well,
So this is his replacement that came in. So I guess he's hoping for something that can snap things into place.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
ah, maybe he's just on an unlucky streak with Wilkerson with his 12 interceptions.
Because his roster's not bad. And then last, Jops, Brooklyn. He had 3 points he wanted to give. And let me get to his team. So basically with Jops, Brooklyn, here we go. He picked up a wide receiver, Bracken, to help his team. So this is the guy he got. He feels he whiffed in the draft on his picks. So all his draft picks, he's not happy with them. And he sees himself as an 8-8 team this season. Now he's at 4-2. He's put up 144 points, but his defense has given up 157. So his defense is not doing so hot. But his passing game with Adams, he's doing well. Now here's one guy. Here we go. He doesn't have scramble ability. And look at his interceptions on the years before. We can't really count this year, but let's look at the years before.
One per game.
Yeah, he's like 1 for 1. So Haynes, you might have something there. Or Mets.
That's kind of what my logic, flawed or otherwise, kind of keeps pointing to.
He spreads the ball around. But again, he's seeing himself as an 8-8. Do you guys see him as an 8-8 team?
Not based on the fact that he's currently 4-2. No. I mean, I think he's gonna. I think he's competing for that division.
Mm-hmm. It's always a tough division, that division.
Yeah, and he's got a talented roster. More
His team
talented
is-
than most.
Yeah, his team is number 1 in yards per attempt passing game. So
I think he might surprise himself.
Yeah, I think so too. I see him playing much better than being an 8-8 team.
played 4 games on the road already.
Yeah. 12-4, 11-5. Would say.
I'd at least give him 10-6.
It's his defense that's the
Yeah,
Achilles
something
heel.
like that. Wow. I mean, he gave up 51 to Texas. But I just remember looking at the game between my team and the Tucker Tigers. Well, we scored 52 points, but when you score two late game interception return touchdowns, at 14 points in garbage time, and it makes a game look so much worse than it maybe
And it
is.
is, yeah.
Mhm.
So we haven't looked at the game between Brooklyn and Texas here, but
I can
it
get
may
up
have
right now.
ended.
Let's
It
take,
may have ended something like that.
let's take a
Maybe
look.
it didn't.
Um,
Yeah. Interception.
Yeah, he got ran all over.
Look, his quarterback wasn't even on the field.
Yeah, it got so bad at some point that that the second string guy came in.
And the second string guy was awful.
It was
Beyond.
dreadful.
Beyond awful. A 6
Pathetic.
passing rating? I've never even seen something like that. 10 of 28? I would be pissed too if my quarterback was pulled for this garbage.
Yeah, I think I complained about something like that after the first week.
Yes, I remember that. And then,
Back then it was my own fault, but still, sometimes this happens, and well,
If you have your game plan settings adjusted to, I guess there's not an adjustment for that, is there? You set your quarterback to at least you take it out.
let's go to that. What you're speaking of. It is. Is it? It's,
Game plan details.
Is it game
Yeah.
plan details?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that only for injuries?
Least.
Yeah. Does that only for injuries, or does that impact if you're getting
It impacts both. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
now. When I looked at it, well, can you put it back on? When I looked at my team, I've noticed that substitute starting quarterbacks was at 9 for my team. So all of a sudden, I had like, wow, that's why my quarterback was getting pulled in a lot of games
Yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
That it might be one of those things that you flip in preseason to make two quarterbacks get playing time, and then you just forget to put it back in the regular season. And if you don't have a blowout game, then you're just not going to notice. But in the end, it's just stupidity not putting it back to 1. The use of injured players. Oh, you've got it. Is 1 high or low?
On which one?
You just changed it.
Oh, I was on
Use of
3.
injured.
I was on 3.
Yeah.
One is low.
And I put it on 1.
I always put it on 8. Maybe I should put it on 9. I'm just not that scared about it, but
And I did that,
Yeah.
but I'll change it later. But a good surprise I like to see is Paris here. Paris sitting at 3 and 2,
me too. Yeah.
but he's not putting up points. But his defense is doing something, and he's making it work. His quarterback, by the way, he's got draft picks to help his team later on. So he's doing it with this guy. Go ahead, Haynes.
He doesn't. Mace doesn't look bad. I mean, he's got the timing bar. He's got some scramble.
Let's look at him. Let me just get this up.
And how many draft picks does he have now?
That's a good question. Let me open it up for him. Um, he's has
Oh, what might be easier is going to the telephone screen.
The scout, the general manager screen.
oh, okay. Let me do that then. Here we go.
And then the trading partner, yeah.
Let me go down. There you go.
So yeah, 2 first, 2 second next year, 2 first in 2112. How many seconds does he have in 2112?
Wow.
2 seconds.
So you got 2 firsts
Yeah.
and 2 seconds in both back-to-back drafts, and then on 2113, it's just normal.
Yeah.
So he can really do some damage in the 2111 and 2112.
Yeah, but you can go either way with it. Either you offer them all to somebody else to trade up and get that one guy that you think will make your team go DH, or
Yes, because
Yeah, I'm curious, kind of based on his previous trades. I can't see him going up, using those picks to go up to get a guy, because he's had the ability at the top of the draft to get a guy already. So I'll be curious to see what he does.
his roster is forming out nicely. He's going to need a safety. It looks like they're getting old.
I don't know.
no, I don't think so.
There was
Look at pull up Tucker's team. Look at Tucker's safeties. You see that?
No,
I mean, they're
that's a
not
safety.
high-rated guys. They just have good zone.
hmm
That's where Bid is saving money on the cap.
So let's go back to Paris then. These two guys are aging. So let's see his other guys. So he can work.
Yeah, he can work, I think.
And his
Is that the guy that's injured?
Yeah.
yes. And then
The
his
guys, he might be unfortunate with the guy.
Yeah, he does have a couple guys that are in the sunset of their careers.
if Mays turns out to be the quarterback to help him, then he's good. He's got a good roster that he's been building up. He doesn't have any wide receivers.
Look at that tight end, though.
Well,
Yeah, the guy's better than the guy that I picked.
Yeah. He's better than Harvey Vance.
he got him at 116.
Right ahead of me, but I didn't even expect Delgado to do well, to improve, but he did. So
Yeah,
great pick.
good for you, Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, he's competing. Nice pick.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I was looking at on that part. Any surprises for you right now? What you're seeing in the season? I got to tell you, by the way, not to gloss over it, but Colorado, Pizer,
Yeah.
his team is always dominating. Where is it? Colorado.
Yeah, he's always solid. He likes to run the ball.
He is. His team is very solid.
Run the ball and
Let's get to his team
good
here.
defense.
He's the only one standing
Look at
without a
look at his
loss.
look at his defensive ranking.
Oh wow!
Number one passing yards, number one yards per catch.
Less than 10 points per game. That's nice. Even though it's 5 games, but still.
No, but still, he's always like this.
That's the 85 Bears right there.
His defense is lights out.
Yeah.
You know, and that right there makes you a playoff and a bowl team. That defense.
Yep.
Good for him.
What does he run? Is he running 4-3?
Colorado.
Yeah.
What can we do? Film room to find that out?
Planning, I would go to planning and then staff.
Yeah, staff.
Oh yeah, that's right, staff.
And then sort by team.
Here we go.
Yeah.
He is defense
4-3 under. Yeah.
In the offense.
spread.
Spread.
And he's
Now that's surprising. So he's running out of the spread.
So what's surprising about it?
I would have thought he'd be more. I thought he'd be a smash mouth guy or balanced. But when you think about it, I mean, we have a good number of teams that Matt's a good example. Ben's a good example that are passing a lot out of the smash mouth style.
Well, I like what I'm seeing here for Colorado. One wide receiver with 100 yards per game, but also 3 guys running the ball.
Yeah.
With like
Yeah, running back by committee.
yeah,
I think that works really well. It's worked for me really well. I found that if you can have one guy that's really good with third down running and power inside, be your third down short yardage goal line back, and then your other guy to do the other stuff.
He figured out something with his quarterback, because his quarterback wasn't carrying the team. It would just be there. It was his defense and his running game, like you were saying, Haynes. But this season, his quarterback, now, like, it's early, but he's thrown 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 7.39 average per attempt.
Yeah.
And so he's a team that doesn't need to have a quarterback
Right.
to win games.
he hasn't been throwing the ball as much as he has been the last 2 seasons either. I mean, he's not on pace to go for 600 attempts again. It's more like he's going to fall short for like 450, 54, 500 at most.
He probably figured out that if his quarterback keeps throwing, he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. But that's impressive, his defense. Looking back at this,
Yeah.
1, top all the way.
Yeah. That's very impressive.
I was saying, was there any surprises for you? Like, my surprise was your team, Haynes, of your record. But do you guys have a surprise? And there was another one, but I'll let you guys go.
I was surprised Snapfinger is at 0-5. I just maybe. Well, yeah, he's of course he's going with a rookie quarterback, so that might be it. But I I guess I didn't expect him to be at 0-5 at this point.
But
Well, he also played a very tough schedule so far. So
his defense is abysmal.
yeah, it
They're
goes two ways. He played Gothenburg and Tucker and Toronto, Orlando, Iowa.
yeah, it's not good, and his offense right there with it.
But it surprises me there are 5 teams without a victory, but it might be just something like this. Like you have a tough schedule in the first couple of games, and then maybe the team recovers, maybe it doesn't. But
Haynes,
Yeah, I would.
what was your surprise?
Um, I'm surprised that Oakland is 2-3 at this point in the season. I kind of always expect them to be neck and neck with Colorado in the NC West, competing for that division. I'm also surprised that Snapfinger is 0-5. Given that they're always in a good position every year in the draft, I would expect that they'd have a talented enough roster to not be losing every game. And he's got an experienced quarterback.
We're talking about Snapfinger.
Yeah, Snapfinger.
Yeah, Schultz. Yes,
Yeah.
but he's playing like garbage.
well, he's playing Leach, which is the thing to do when you get a guy like that. So
Yeah, I'm surprised by myself. I would expect, even with a rookie quarterback, that
this is a rookie quarterback that you have to play from day one,
yeah.
I think.
So that's what I'm doing with mine, and I'm suffering for it. So I think we'll get better as the year progresses. I don't expect this to be what season was Detroit 0-16. I don't expect this to be that bad, but
I was also it was Fairbanks, by the way, was the other team for
yeah,
me.
didn't he do pretty well last couple of seasons?
Last season, it seemed like he turned the corner, was doing well, and he had this guy Washington playing well in the beginning of last season. Then something happened. Something in his game plan changed. Because if you look at his games, and I'll bring it up. Let's see. That was his games before, and then something happened at the end. But in any event, yeah, I expected him to be more in the running, not 0-6 on Fairbanks.
It's another team. When you look at his schedule so far, 4 road games. The home games were against Colorado and Oakland. The, yeah, that at best those games are he's 50. It's a coin flip, so it's it's not where you want to be, but it's not. You want to be at 3-3, 2-4 after this stretch of games. At minimum, but yeah.
Yep. What about your team, Clay?
I am on the last chat. I said I see myself as 8-8, and the reason being is I'm just going to get my quarterback the experience. You know,
You're 3-2. So you're doing all right.
Our,
Your
de-
division's pretty tight.
our defense hasn't been playing too well. And of course, I throw a lot. And my quarterback is going to throw a lot of interceptions being young. But next season, I feel that he'll hit his ratings the way it's going, and the interceptions will come down. And as you guys can see, my running game is atrocious, beyond atrocious. So I fixed my game plan for this coming week to eliminate that. And let's see how it plays out.
How's your O line?
That was
Oh, my
that I was going
O-line,
to ask the same
it's-
question. Yeah.
it's built for passing, and I'll show you guys. And we can take the guys out.
Let's switch to your team first.
Oh, it's on my team. That's my center. This is my guard.
0 roadblock.
I mean, I'm playing him at left tackle, actually, this guy.
Yeah.
Here's my guard. So as you can see, they're all built for passing. And then this guy here. Yeah, 1 sack, 0 sacks allowed, 1 sack allowed, 1 sack allowed. So you can see that that's been helping my passing game. So they've been solid, and that's how I like to pick my team. And then this other guy here. So on that front, yes, but on the
So
running
if
game,
you do you have any game plans where you just pass only?
well, I modify my thing where there's some run, but it's going to be more passing now.
Yeah.
But I'm also getting my my running back into the passing game more as well with this new game plan. Besides my second tight end and my what do you call that? My not flanker, my slot guy. But what I'm very happy with is my rookie wide receiver. I traded 3 second-round picks to Jugs to move up and get this guy. And he's just been playing off the charts. So I'm very happy with him. He's got a 9.45 per target. So
That's pretty good.
I can't
So
complain about this guy.
Yeah.
what are your splits like? Are you short pass, medium pass, long pass? What's your ratios?
Oh, I'm pretty much everything, but I'll bring it up.
Everything.
Let me get to teams. Here we go. So as you can see, 84 for short. I mean, 108 for short, but 84 for medium, and long's not too much. 29.
Yeah.
Like Tucker, he's at 64. I'm at 29. Tucker has an extra game on me, I believe.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, so even though I'll probably be maybe 35. So Tucker is 50% more on long passes than I am. Tucker, medium passes to me, I'm probably going to be more on medium passes than Tucker. And on short passes, I'll probably be within the same realm as close enough to Tucker. Because he's right next to me, it's easier to see the difference between the two. But that's where I am. Now my defense, as you can see, is playing atrocious. But the offense is not playing so bad. Like completions against me, I'm fifth. Passing yards against me, I'm 12th. Yards per attempt, I'm 4th, so I'm keeping that good. Yards per catch is 10 yards. But I've given up a lot of yards, 356, because most of it comes on the rushing against me. I'm bad on getting people off the field on third down. Now my points.
You're great. You're great in the red zone. If you look at that red zone offense, points per visit, I think you're number 6. See that 1, 2, 3, that fourth column from the left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's top 8.
Which one?
Yeah,
This one.
this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. So 5.3 points per visit. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I figured out my red zone, how to make it better, and so I've been tweaking that. But
So what's your strategy there?
so people assume that red zone is just a red zone play. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, in your game plan, you have red zone, and you put your red zone
First and
plays.
second in red zone, yeah.
Once you're in the red zone and you do a play, it doesn't go to the next red zone play. It goes now to your regular game plan
Second,
above.
yeah.
And so it takes from there. And so you have to figure out, okay, if I'm down in red zone, maybe I should have a certain amount of plays in my other game plan above to try to get me in. It's all trial and error at the end of the day. So people are fixing their red zone thing down below, but it's not that part. It's part of it, but not all of it.
But yeah, if you can score from outside the red zone, you don't need the red zone offense.
Exactly. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, I see us as an 8-8. I'm going to try to compete as best as possible. I'm going to try to make the playoffs. I'm counting on Ike to be that quarterback that is going to be something strong for me next season, and that's how I see him. With two young wide receivers I have that he can grow with. They're all like 22, 20, 21, and I think 24 years old.
Well, he's got the best name of all the quarterbacks in the league.
Ike.
Horst.
Yeah. He just has to now follow it up with gameplay. All right, fellas, that was fun. We'll end it here.
Nice chat, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thanks, Clay.
No,
Thanks again.
I'll end it here.